Okay, let's have some other questions.
Many discussions about the UFO phenomenon are premised on the assumption that the occupants of these craft are somehow more advanced than we are apart from technology. And I'm curious to know, what's your read on the evidence for making assumptions about how advanced they are or how much more spiritual they are or anything like that?
Anybody want to try that one?
Yeah, I don't really see. I know some will vehemently disagree, and I don't pretend to infallibility here, but I have never seen any evidence myself as a historian of the phenomenon that UFO intelligences are spiritually superior to us. I think there are certain kinds of presumptions you can reasonably make. For example, let us assume they're from some extrasolar civilizations. Just the fact that they got here, that they had a technology that got them here, means that they have at least some things in common with us. They have curiosity, they have science, they have a desire to learn things, to go places. So they do have things in common with us. An alien intelligence that got here in machines, just by the nature of the fact that it flew here in machines, would mean that we did have some things in common with it. But the spiritual aspect I see is coming out of kind of quasi-religious experiences that people have that are vivid and compelling to them, but not demonstrably related to the UFO phenomenon, whatever the appearance of the communicating entities might suggest. I think that these are in the category what I called in my lecture this morning experience anomalies. The UFO phenomenon, the core UFO phenomenon, the daylight disk phenomenon, the phenomenon that leaves ground traces is the event phenomenon. That's the anomalous event, which is scientifically investigatable, and all we really know about them is that apparently they're from extrasolar civilizations. That's a reasonable inference. They have a technology, and they're curious enough to be here. We don't know much beyond that, but I don't really see myself any evidence that we have any cause to worship them or to turn to them for superior religious insights.
Anyone else on the panel want to add to that?
I got interested in UFOs when I was 11 years old, which was in 1957. So as James just said, I have lived UFO history, as Bob has. And we've been around for a long time and seen all kinds of things come and go, and many disappointments, more disappointments than breakthroughs. And I am certain, unfortunately, and I'm not a pessimist by nature, that the UFO phenomenon will continue to be marginalized. Science will continue to neglect it. It is a question that science will have to take up one day, because UFOs won't go away. The SETI project will continue to fail, and old, conservative, stubborn scientists will die. And one day, when the scientists who claim on the basis of no evidence that the galaxy is densely populated are finally called one too many times on the absence of evidence for this extraordinary proposition, some upstart young astronomer is going to say, well, we could look at those UFO reports. That's what's going to happen. In the meantime, I think that one thing that has retarded progress, obviously besides the fact that we don't have access to scientific expertise and funding and all those things, is that we're making a series of category errors. And I think that with the UFO phenomenon, as with other kinds of extraordinary claims, as I said in my lecture this morning, there's more than one thing going on. There's an anomalous event phenomenon, and there's an experience anomaly phenomenon, and they're only superficially related, and attempts to sweep them under one explanatory scheme will get us nowhere, which is in many ways where we are now. We just have to rethink what we're dealing with. The event phenomenon is something that is eminently scientific and scientifically investigatable if science had its resources directed toward that problem, it probably would have solved it by now. The experience anomaly phenomenon is much more intractable and far beyond current knowledge. And now I turn it over to my friend Bob.